Hello everyone and welcome back. A few years ago, I made a video comparing the 17 Hornet to the 22 Hornet, and we did some ballistic testing at 50 yards. Now it seemed pretty clear that the 22 Hornet was the hands down winner that day at that distance. But today we're going to see what happens when we stretch those distances out a bit further. We're going to do some shooting at 100 yards and at 200 yards to see what kind of a difference that might just make. We'll also examine some of the numbers on the 17 Winchester Super Mag rounds that have been chronographing just to kind of see where they fit into the mix. Now, one of the things that the 17 Hornet has going for it is a better ballistic coefficient and greater starting speed than the 22 Hornet. Now, being that most factory loaded 22 Hornet ammo has a poor ballistic coefficient, it is worth asking the following question. Can you overcome a poor ballistic coefficient? And the answer is kind of yes and no. You can overcome it with speed to a certain extent. Speed kind of acts like a camouflage to the underlying problem here. However, as bullets lose their speed in flight, it's like losing camouflage one layer at a time until the root of the problem is once again exposed. Now the challenge for the 22 Hornet is that not only does it have a poor ballistic coefficient as compared to the 17 Hornet, it also has less starting speed to help mask the issue. Now if you like today's video, please remember to click the like button, do subscribe, and turn on the notifications icon if you haven't yet done so. And as always, we're looking forward to your comments. Thank you again. Okay, so in order to get a feel for if the 22 Hornet is going to be able to outshoot the 17 Hornet, we might want to start by comparing it to the 17 Winchester Super Mag. So if we start with that 22 Hornet 35 grain VMAX, you'll notice it has a ballistic coefficient of 0.11. If we compare that to the Winchester Super Mag 20 grain VMAX, ballistic coefficient 0.185. They both start off with roughly the same amount of speed. You've got 3111 feet per second on the 22 Hornet, yielding 752 foot-pounds of energy. You compare that to the Winchester Super Mag, 3055 feet per second, 414 foot-pounds of energy. But that's at the muzzle. Once you get out there to 100 yards, the 17 Winchester Super Mag is definitely overtaken it with speed anyway, 2553 feet per second, compared to 2288 feet per second. Now, of course, that 22 Hornet will definitely still have more raw energy, 407 foot-pounds compared to 289. But look what happens when we get out to the 200-yard marker. You're at about 202 foot-pounds of energy on the Hornet, 197 foot-pounds of energy on the Winchester Super Mag. Not enough difference to even talk about, but take a look at the speed difference. That Winchester Super Mag 20 grain bullet is at 2104 feet per second compared to 1611 feet per second on the Hornet. So you're going to be plus 493 feet per second faster on that Winchester Super Mag round. And if you compare that Winchester Super Mag round to the 45 grain soft point with 22 Hornet, you're going to be plus 686. You've got a difference of 2104 feet per second compared to 1418 feet per second at 200 yards. So rather than being 493 feet per second faster, now you're 686 feet per second faster. If you want to look at the slower moving Winchester Super Mag with a better ballistic coefficient, that's the 25 grain VMAX BC of 0.23. I've chronographed these, and on average I'm seeing that they're at about 2691 feet per second. You're comparing that to 3111 feet per second on the 35 grain Hornet. So you definitely have more raw energy, but again, that's just at the muzzle. Once you hit 100 yards, that Winchester Super Mag 2314 feet per second compared to 2288 feet per second on the Hornet. So you're a little better on the speed, but you're still trailing the Hornet with raw energy, 407 foot-pounds compared to 297. But when you get out there to the 200-yard mark, you're at 215 foot-pounds of energy in favor of the Winchester Super Mag, 202 compared to the 35 grain 22 Hornet. Look at the speed numbers, 1969 feet per second on the Winchester Super Mag, 1611 feet per second on the Hornet. So you're plus 358 feet per second on that Winchester Super Mag. And if you compare it to the slower moving 45 grain soft point 22 Hornet, you're at plus 551 feet per second. Then if you wanted to go into the 17 Hornet rounds, rather than, if you look at the 20 grain VMAX there, rather than coming in at plus 493 at the 200 yard mark when comparing it to the 35 grain 22 Hornet, now you're plus 1041. If you compare it to the slower moving 45 grain soft point 22 Hornet, rather than being plus 1041, now you're plus 1234 feet per second, because that thing is arriving doing 2652 feet per second compared to 1418 feet per second. Really just no comparison there. If you want to look at the slower moving 17 Hornet, which is their 25 grain hollow point, you're going to be plus 772 when you compare that to the 35 grain 22 Hornet VMAX. You've got a difference in speed of 2383 compared to 1611, so that's 772 feet per second faster on that 25 grain Hornet. And then if you've got that 25 grain 17 Hornet compared to the slower moving 45 grain soft point 22 Hornet, speed difference 965 feet per second at 200 yards. So if you are a 22 Hornet fan, all is not lost. You can certainly reload the 40 grain Nosler VMAX bullets, or you can order those bullets pre-loaded from the factory. You can get them from Nosler custom. They are a bit on the expensive side. The last time I checked, right around $80 for a box of 50. They do have a pretty good ballistic coefficient, BC at 0.22. They claim that they're doing 2850 feet per second at the muzzle, yielding 721 foot-pounds of energy. Out there at 200 yards, they're about a dead heat with speed with the 17 Winchester Super Mag rounds. This Nosler bullet 40 grain will come in with 2,074 feet per second, yielding 382 foot-pounds of energy. That's basically a dead heat with the 2104 feet per second 20 grain Winchester Super Mag, and it slightly exceeds your 17 Winchester Super Mag 25 grain bullet in terms of speed and of course with energy as well. When you compare it to the 17 Hornet 25 grain hollow point, you're still losing the speed war, but not by nearly as much. Rather than being down by 772 feet per second or down by 965 feet per second, now you're only down by 309 feet per second, which is still noticeable, but not nearly as big of a gap as what it was before. So there you'll have 2383 feet per second worth of speed on that 25 grain Hornet round compared to 2074 feet per second on your 40 grain 22 Hornet. If you look though at the 17 Hornet 20 grain VMAX, you're still hurting for speed, but not by as much. You've got 2652 feet per second on that 17 Hornet compared to 2074. So rather than being down by like 1,000 and change or down by 1,200 and change feet per second, you're minus 578, which again is still not good, but it's really closing the gap. Getting ready to shoot this water jug from a distance of 200 yards with a 22 Hornet using the Hornady 35 grain VMAX bullet. We'll be shooting at this water jug from a distance of 200 yards with a 17 Hornet 20 grain VMAX. Alright, so this is the water jug that was just now hit from 200 yards. 22 Hornet 35 grain VMAX. My best guess is that I obviously didn't hit him square. I probably hit him pretty low, if anything. The rifle is sighted in for 100 yards. I didn't really adjust it. I just kind of aimed a little high when I was aiming at this, so there you go. All right, so this is the water jug that was just hit from 200 yards, 17 Hornet. It would appear that I hit him maybe just off to the side, but pretty much dead center, but off to the side. So in other words, it wasn't even as solid of a hit as what it could have been. But even though the hit wasn't solid, the damage sure was. We'll be shooting at this water jug from a distance of 200 yards with a .22 Hornet using a 45 grain soft point bullet by PPU. We'll be shooting at this water jug from a distance of 200 yards with a 17 Hornet 25 grain hollow point. Alright, so this is the water jug that was just now hit at 200 yards with a .22 Hornet 45 grain bullet. It's aiming right about there. We hit it just a little bit off to the right. And then here's what happened on the back side. Blew a decent sized hole out the back. Okay, so this is the water jug that was just now hit from 200 yards. 17 Hornet, 25 grain hollow point. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm suspecting that that tiny little hole there is the entry hole. Didn't really hit it quite dead center, but this is a very forgiving bullet. If you don't hit bullseyes, it seems to be okay. Look at all this damage. I mean, it just really did a number on this water jug. Not bad, considering I probably could have hit it a little more solid, but solid enough apparently. We'll be shooting at these water jugs from a distance of 100 yards using the .22 Hornet 35 grain Hornady Varmint Express. Alright, walking up to the water jugs, or jug, that was just now hit from 200 yards at with a .22 Hornet 35 grain VMAX. I'm guessing I hit this thing pretty much somewhere dead center. Yeah, looks like I probably hit it dead center with that 35 grain bullet. It absolutely blew that thing up. It did not come out the back side of the water jug. Water jug number 2, perfectly intact. It's not even wet, I don't think. So yeah, it just massive energy dump right away with that 35 grain bullet. We'll be shooting at these water jugs from a distance of 100 yards with a 17 Hornet using the 20 grain VMAX bullet. Walking up right now to the water jugs that were just hit at 100 yards with a 17 Hornet 20 grain VMAX. Knocked them all over. The second water jug in line is basically untouched, same with the third. This was the very first water jug in line. It appears that that's probably the entry hole, so hit it pretty close to dead center. Just really mangled it pretty good. Bullet just basically completely disintegrated. Did not make it into the second water jug though.